Time, my great pleasure to introduce our mayor of the city of Lowell, Mayor Patrick Murphy.
Thank you very much, Ricky. I'm sorry that we didn't get you to hear you sing, but I'm sure
Next time. I don't think.
next time, later tonight. I'm very happy to be here, and especially to be joined by a number of my colleagues, particularly on the school committee. We have Ms. Russ Sinkwich, who's also running for re-election. Ms. Kim Scott. Mr. Jim Leary. And It's on, okay. I think some of my fellow councilors been... Now it's off!
No, it's on. It's just a way. It's just a, yeah.
An amateur up here. And so were many other people. But no, I am happy to be here also with a former colleague of mine on the city council and your former mayor, Jim Milanazzo. I first met Vesna when I first ran for city council, and we sat down and talked a lot about the issues that face the community. And one of the issues that he had brought up was, getting lights at Clementi Park. It was a very simple idea to ensure that more people had access to the park for a... But then more people had access to the park for more hours during the day. And a number of people...
You're loud enough.
But in working with him... Hello?
Hey, Mayor, stand a little closer to the speaker.
Where the hell is the speaker?
It's over here.
But in working with him, we were able to organize people in the community to actually not only put lights in the park, but to completely renovate the entire park. And in doing so, we didn't just change the park, we changed the relationship between people with their government. I think that's the big thing that Vesna Nuon brings to the city council, is that connection between people in the community and their government. They realize that here is somebody who is one of them and can actually work on their behalf for the next 2 years. One of the things that Vesna has been so good about is making sure that the good things that are happening continue. That's one of our roles as a city councilor, not just to propose things, but to ensure that the good things that are happening continue. We've this year invested more in our capital budget than ever before. Over $13 million, much of it which will go to the schools. $4 million last year, much of that which went to the schools. It's been a long time coming, but he, in taking an important vote, actually supported that initiative. For 2 years in a row now, we'll have a 0% tax increase. This is something that is obviously a result of the work that prior councils did, including former Mayor Milanazzo, but it's a goal that has been set by this council, and it's a goal that's been lived up to. But more importantly, he supported what he ran on, which is increasing money to the Parks and Recreation's budget, which has been at its highest level since 1996. He's run on increasing our safety on our public streets, and took those votes that were necessary. They were close votes, and then sometimes he was on the losing end of those votes, but he took those votes to increase police overtime so that we can use our resources in a smarter way and provide more safety, not only downtown here, but throughout the neighborhoods. So what you see in Vesna Nuon is a commitment to his community. It hasn't just been as a city councilor, it's been throughout his entire career, 20 some odd years working for the state in dealing with all kinds of issues with sex offenders and everything else. But also in all the volunteer time that he ends up contributing to all the organizations. Many of you here know how much work he does, not just as a city councilor, but as a citizen of the city. And I think he's been a great friend to myself, he's been a great supporter of mine, and for all those who want to see good city government, professional city government, he'll be a good friend and supporter of you. And I urge you to vote for him on November, whatever it is, because I'm obviously not running for re-election. But November 5th, I urge you to vote then for Vesna Nuon, because he's so deserving of your support, and he will do you well for the next 2 years.
Good job, man.
Another former mayor who's been a great friend of the city and certainly a good partner with the city council, Senator Eileen Donoghue.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, and it's an honor to be here tonight to say a few words for my good friend and an outstanding city councilor, Vesna Nuon. You are the best. You know, some of what you know how hard he works, and I can tell you, he works day in and day out. In my capacity, he's contacted me not once, many times, about opening community schools after school, making sure the state has the resources so kids in their neighborhoods have a place to go. We had meetings. Vesna wasn't very happy with some of the original proposals, and he was very polite, but he said, we got to keep on working. And you were absolutely right. He does not give up. I can tell you that being a city councilor is a very difficult job. The time commitment is extreme. That Vesna and Mayor Murphy and former Mayor Milanazzo and all of those who serve in public office, including the school committee members, especially here, they give up so much of their time, and they understand that. That's okay, but we're so lucky to have them there. But now we have a chance to do something for them, and we have to work for them. We have to make sure that if they need help getting out, standing on corners, going door to door, spreading the word, that's something that we all can do. You know, one night I happened to turn on the city council. It was not something I do on a regular Tuesday night, I can assure you. But on this night I did. And without getting into the details, it was an important issue that was being discussed, a really important issue. And I can tell you there were some councilors in number one in my book, and there was another number one too, but number one was Vesna Nuon. I was so proud of Vesna Nuon that night. He stood up, he spoke for a good friend of his, the mayor, but more importantly, he stood up for the values and ideals that Lowell is and should be about. He said it from the heart, he was passionate, he was everything that a true leader should be. And we are so fortunate to have his leadership. So I'm honored to have him as a colleague in government. I'm honored to call him a friend. I'm honored to help him in any way get back to represent us on the city council, because it is so important. Make no mistake, this election is very, very important, folks. Make sure that we return good people to the council to represent us, and I am delighted to be here and look forward to helping him in November 5th. He will be victorious and a city councilor once again. Thank you very much. Now it's my great honor. I'm not going to stray too far from this. It's my great honor to introduce to you our Congresswoman Nikki Tsongas, who has been not only a great friend for Vesna, to the community, but to each and every one of us, fighting for us in D.C. That is not an easy job, I can assure you. We're very lucky to have her commitment and to have her here tonight, demonstrating how important all of what we're doing and talking about here is to each and every one of us. Without further ado, please welcome Congresswoman Nikki Tsongas of the 3rd District of Massachusetts.
Thank you, Eileen. Thank you. It's great to be here with Eileen, with Patrick Murphy, with Vesna, with all those in the audience who are currently serving or seek to serve. And I think all that's been said about Vesna is so true. And the reason he is so good is because he has a great family. And I just want to acknowledge Navi and Nadia and Nathan out here. Never served by oneself. If one has a family, it is a family effort. And those who do it well do it because they have the support of those who love them, but those who love them also value what our public servants are doing. So just to thank Navi and the Nuon children for all that they do to promote public service and to encourage you and support you in your work. As you've heard from Eileen, I recall when my husband was a city councilor here in Lowell, Massachusetts from 1969 to 1972. He always said it was one of the most difficult jobs he ever had. And that was because virtually everything he did had immediate impact on the people he was serving and the people he was representing. It is a mighty hard job, but it is probably one of the most, if not the most important job, because everything you do immediately makes its way out into the community you're serving. What we do in Washington is very important, but it sets out ripples that go across and take a lot of time sometimes to make themselves felt. Here, everything you do, every vote you take has an immediate impact. And I think Vesna has demonstrated his understanding, as did Eileen when she was in the city council, as does Patrick, as did Jim Milanazzo, that you have to think about the present and you have to think about the future. So when you think about Vesna's commitment to education, he's taking care of those young people who live here and we hope will grow up here and stay here, but he's also setting the stage for our future. If we don't educate our young people, we are doomed to fail. Educating our young people is a fundamental building block, and funding our schools and fully funding our schools is key to that. He's been very focused on fiscal stability of the city, again, so that we can ride the waves that come our way and not falter as we seek to be a premier mid-sized city. He's helped to stabilize the tax rate. I hear in Washington all the time about everybody needs to have certainty in their lives. They need to know so that they can plan. And stabilizing the tax rate does that for Lowell's families. You know what your contribution is going to be. And it also helps to fund all that the city needs to accomplish in order to serve you all well. And again, the focus on the parks is so important. I enjoy nothing more than going to Clementi Park and going for a festival or going across the street to eat at the Red Rose and seeing the various teams playing out there. But again, parks are what draw us together. That's where we all come together and enjoy one another. So I think Vesna, in his short tenure in the City Council, has demonstrated he understands. He needs to take care of the future, the present, but he is always thinking about the future. That's the kind of leader we need, and I'm here to proudly say I'm so proud to support Vesna. I have been in the past, and we all need to go to work to make sure he is returned to the City Council of Lowell, Massachusetts. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our great candidate and our currently great City Councilor, Vesna Nuon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki, Congresswoman Tsongas. Thank you, State Senator Eileen Donoghue. Thank you, my friend Mayor Patrick O'Murphy. Thank you. And thank you all of you for giving me the opportunity to serve you and the City of Lowell for the past 20 years. Oh, no, 20 months. Thank you also to my family, my wife, for supporting me in my effort to be the best possible city councilor. With a great deal of help, we have taken steps to make our city safer. This includes improved parks, better lighting, progress on after-school program. There is more work to do. Working together, we have moved to fully fund our public school, in part due to the commitment of Mayor Murphy and others. There's more work to do. Coming out of this difficult recession, we have taken steps to stabilize the tax rate and work with leaders like Congresswoman Sonkers, State Senator Eileen Donoghue, to create more economic opportunity for local workers and their family. There is more work to do. Because it is the right things to do and because it makes us unify and stronger, we have worked to ensure that City Board and Commission represent the population that we serve. There is more work to do. And because there is more work to do, I am asking for support as a candidate for re-election to the Lowell City Council. With your support, I will continue to work for a city that will have still safer school, better school, safer street, stable tax rate, and more opportunity